Today's lesson is the bet. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff.
I am Roger. Today we're going to continue to summarize our featured story, The Bet, by the Russian author Anton Chekhov. Now, what exactly is the bet? It's a bet between a rich banker and a young lawyer. They're having a bet about which is better and which is worse. Is it worse to be in prison for all of your life, or is it worse to have capital punishment or to be executed because of a crime you committed?
Let's see if I remember correctly. The wealthy banker says life imprisonment would be much, much worse. And then the young lawyer, being young, says, are you kidding? At least you get to live. If you die by way of capital punishment, that's it. It's all over. So the fact that you get to keep on living even though you're in jail, that must be worth something. But at the end of the first part of our story, the young lawyer is getting older, and learning that life alone in confinement is not all it's cracked up to be, okay? You might think that living is better than ending your life immediately or having it ended by way of capital punishment, but the young lawyer, getting older as he does, is learning that that's not really the case, or that the answer to the question isn't as simple as he once thought it was. Okay, folks, with that, let's go ahead and get started on the second part of our lesson.
In his 6th year of solitary confinement, the lawyer starts studying foreign languages in earnest. He also dives into books on science, history, philosophy, and other subjects. He behaves as if he's a lost man searching for the right path through knowledge.
大家好，首先我们看到的单字是 philosophy， 这个字当作名词，代表哲学或是哲学思想的意思。所以我们可以说 Jake is studying Eastern philosophy. Jake 正在研读东方哲学。除此之外，我们也可以说 It is my philosophy that playing is just as important as working. 我的人生观是玩乐跟工作一样重要。
All right, let's talk about the first part of today's lesson. Remember, the young lawyer has volunteered to be imprisoned on the wealthy banker's property, and he's already been in there for 5 years. Now, in his 6th year of solitary confinement, the lawyer starts studying foreign languages in earnest. So this is what he's doing in his 6th year of imprisonment. Remember, he's going to be in prison for 15 years, according to their bet. So in the 6th year, he's in solitary confinement, and he wants to learn foreign languages, like Italian or Urdu or whatever. So he's in solitary confinement, which means he's in a cell all by himself.
Well, remember, he's on the banker's property. He's not in a jail cell. He's got a nice place and he's well taken care of, but he can't go outside and he can't see other people either. He's in solitary confinement. He has to stay there and he's all alone. Anyways, let's talk about what it means to do something in earnest, okay? If you do something in earnest, you do that thing in an earnest way. E-A-R-N-E-S-T. And we're not talking about the name earnest. No. A person who is earnest is serious. They're serious and honest and determined and very sincere about what they're doing. So here the lawyer dives into foreign languages and studies them all the time, which is a good thing, right?
It is a good thing indeed, and he dives into those books on various subjects, including science, history, philosophy, and other subjects. So here we've got the word to dive. Usually that means you jump into water head first, okay? If you're at the swimming pool or something and you jump into the water feet first, well, to me that doesn't count as diving. You have to dive into the pool with your head bent down. And that's kind of hard for people to do, but of course, Michael Phelps, for example, when he swims in a race, he's going to dive into the pool so that he can swim faster. And I also wanted to mention that dive, this past tense, is either dove or dived. Okay, when I was growing up, I learned dove. I dove into the swimming pool, but some people say dived, D-I-V-E-D, and that is correct as well.
Yeah, that's more British to say he dived into the water. Very often in America, people will say he dove into the water. But again, folks, we're not being literal here. He, the young lawyer, he also dives into books on science, history, philosophy, and other subjects. But he's not jumping into these books. That would be weird and strange. No. Here, we're not being literal. We're being figurative. To dive into something here is to immerse yourself in that thing. If you dive into something, you get excited and enthusiastic about that thing. You become intensely interested in that thing. But again, there's a downside to this. Sure, he's studying foreign languages and diving into books on science, history, philosophy, and other subjects. But apparently, he's doing all these things and he doesn't have a plan. He's doing it as though he were very, very desperate or a desperate and broken man. Yes, he behaves, when he's doing this, he behaves as if he's a lost man searching for the right path through knowledge.
Yep, even though he doesn't know where he's going, but he's just going to study stuff anyway, and maybe that path will find him. Okay, let's move on now to the next part of our lesson. It's quite long, so please listen carefully.
As the end of the bet's term draws near, the banker is on the edge of going bankrupt. He decides to take the lawyer's life to avoid paying what he owes him. He goes to the lawyer's room and is shocked by what he sees. Asleep at his desk, the once healthy young man is now all skin and bones, with hair white beyond his ears. The banker then notices a piece of paper on which the lawyer explains what he's learned from his years of reading. He's realized that wealth is fleeting and doesn't provide happiness. Despising all material goods, he concludes he is going to refuse the money he's won. With eyes filled with tears, the banker returns home but has trouble sleeping.
第二部分我们看到的单字是 bankrupt， 这个形容词有破产的意思。我们常会说 go bankrupt 来表示破产。例如 Gary closed his restaurant because he went bankrupt. Gary 因为破产而关闭餐厅。另外，这个字还可以当动词，表达使破产的意思，像是If that movie had failed, it would have bankrupted the company. 如果那部电影票房不好，会使这间公司破产。下一个我们看到的单字是形容词 fleeting， 代表短暂的、飞逝的意思。例如 Jill's love for Henry was fleeting, and she is now dating another boy. Jill 对 Henry 的爱很短暂，现在她正和新欢约会。或者我们也可以说 When you get to be over 50, you realize how fleeting youth is.当你年过50后，你会了解青春是多么的短暂。接下来我们看到的单字是 despise， 这个字当作动词，它有厌恶或是鄙视的意思。所以我们可以说 Nancy despises horror movies and refuses to go see them. Nancy 讨厌看恐怖片，所以她不会去看它们。又或者也可以说 Helen despised her brother for cheating on the exam. Helen 鄙视她弟弟考试作弊的行为。今天最后一个单字我们看到的是名词 goods， 它有商品、货物的意思。例如 Most goods transported to the United States from Asia cross the ocean on ships. 多数货品从亚洲透过货轮运送至美国。顺便补充一下，妈妈们常说的干货的英文就是 dry goods。那我们就可以说 Alice's mother bought many bags of dry goods in the afternoon. Alice 的妈妈在下午买了好多袋干货。
All right, so we just learned about the 6th year of the young lawyer's confinement. Now, the young lawyer isn't super young anymore. He has aged 6 years. And get this, next we're going to fast forward all the way to the end of the bet. Let's fast forward to that point right now. As the end of the bet's term draws near, the banker is on the edge of going bankrupt. So the term length of the bet was 15 years. If the lawyer ends up lasting this 15 years in solitary confinement, he gets the $2 million.
Indeed. So as it draws near, as it comes closer, the banker is about to go bankrupt. He's on the edge of going bankrupt. He's about to go bankrupt, and that means you're losing all your money. You tried really hard to make money, but you owe money to too many people, and you just can't pay those debts. You're in big financial trouble.
There you go. So the end of the bet is drawing near. It's getting closer. It's coming nearer. And get this, the banker is going broke or is about to go broke or bankrupt. How about that? Yes, the phrase on the edge of means on the verge of or about to or approaching. You could be approaching the point of no return, let's say, if you are on the edge of something. Further, if you go to a movie with a lot of suspense, you might be sitting on the edge of your seat the whole time due to the suspense in that movie. Also, though, very literally, if you're sitting on the edge of your seat, you better be careful because you are about to fall off your seat. You could fall off your seat or you are close to falling off your seat. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. This rich banker is no longer rich, and he's looking for a way to maybe make some quick money. So, get this, he decides to take the lawyer's life to avoid paying what he owes him. Now, I figured that the banker had a better plan than this, but here the banker instead, he's just going to kill this young lawyer who's no longer young. He's going to kill this guy after confining him for 15 years just so he doesn't have to pay him the $2 million that this young lawyer is entitled to based on the bet.
Yep, he's going to take the lawyer's life. He's going to kill him. He's going to murder him because he just doesn't want to pay the bet. He doesn't want to pay what he owes him, so he goes to the lawyer's room, or if it's a prison, perhaps he's going to the lawyer's cell, but he is shocked by what he sees. He's very surprised to see what he sees. What does he see? Well, asleep at his desk, the once healthy young man is now all skin and bones, with white hair beyond his years, or it says here with hair white beyond his years. So that's something I would not have expected. It seems like the lawyer was teaching himself music and reading the classics and doing reading and stuff like that. Yeah, he's going to look a little older after having been in prison for 15 years, but he should still be okay. But in any case here, the banker sees the lawyer, who's no longer a young lawyer. He is all skin and bones, which means he's basically very skinny. He lost his appetite. He hasn't been eating for many years. If you're all skin and bones, that means you're so skinny that all you are is just skin and bones. There's no meat on you anymore.
That's terrible. But next, the banker sees something. The banker then notices a piece of paper on which the lawyer explains what he's learned from his years of reading. So there you have it. The banker notices this, and I think the banker realizes that this is a very valuable sheet of paper. This is worth 15 years of a person's life. This person started out young. This person is now old, has spent 15 years in solitary confinement reading everything there is to read. So on this paper, there should be some pretty amazing stuff. There should be some wisdom on this piece of paper, and I think the banker knows it.
It indicates here on the paper that he's realized that wealth is fleeting and doesn't provide happiness. So fleeting, it comes, it goes, you can't keep it forever. And if you have a lot of money, it's not going to make you happy. It doesn't provide happiness. At least that is what the young lawyer has realized. It goes on to say, despising all material goods, he concludes he is going to refuse the money he's won. So he despises material goods. He hates all material things like possessions, fancy suits, and expensive cars, and jewelry, and Chinese ancient vases and stuff like that, art collections and things like that. It's just meaningless to him. He despises all that stuff. Those are some examples of material goods. Goods, of course, could be products. You know, you can buy certain kinds of goods in a store, but he doesn't like materialism at all.
There you go. And this is what the young lawyer, well, he's not that young anymore. This is what the lawyer has learned over 15 years. Okay, wealth is fleeting. It does not provide happiness. Material goods aren't worth it. So, yes, he has concluded that he's going to refuse the money that he's won in this bet. He's going to refuse the banker's money. So I'm sure this makes the banker a happy camper right now. Not only will he not have to give the lawyer $2 million, but he won't have to carry out his plan to kill the lawyer. So yes, I'm sure the banker is a happy guy right now. But he's also noticed something deeper. He realizes the wisdom to be found in this note. Now, how do I know this? Because the next sentence says, with eyes filled with tears, the banker returns home but has trouble sleeping. So he's crying, okay? He's happy because he won't have to pay the $2 million, but he's crying for some reason, and then he can't sleep. It sounds like the lawyer's conclusions have affected him deeply. By the way, the word conclusion is a noun. It comes from the verb conclude. Yes, if you conclude something, you reach a conclusion. You come to a final decision, or you come to a final, or you reach a final judgment in regards to something. Yes, after reading the works of Isaac Newton, I concluded that he was the greatest physicist of all time.
Or when I was in university and I studied law for many years, I concluded that it wasn't for me, and I changed my major to broadcasting and film production. So here, this is what he concluded. He's going to refuse the money. The banker goes home, feels guilty, and that's how our story ends. Well, not really. There's still a little bit more in the story that we're going to find out about in the last part, so let's listen to that first.
The following morning, the lawyer is nowhere to be found. Upon hearing this, the banker rushes to the prisoner's room to take the note and lock it away in his safe.
Okay, let's wrap things up. After a sleepless night with tears in his eyes, the banker realizes that the lawyer is nowhere to be found. Yes, the following morning, we learn, the lawyer is nowhere to be found. He has fled, he has left, and apparently someone has told the banker about this, because the next sentence says, upon hearing this, he heard this, didn't see it for himself. Upon hearing this, the banker rushes to the prisoner's room to take the note and lock it away in his safe. Now, why do you think the banker does this, Roger?
I guess we're not really supposed to know, because remember at the very beginning of our lesson we said that Chekhov is famous for posing questions but not necessarily answering them. So you're going to have to figure this out yourself. Is the banker still cold-blooded at heart? He doesn't want anybody else to know about their bet, and he's just going to take the money for himself. Is that why he locked it away in his safe? Or has he developed a conscience? I guess you have to think about that yourself and discuss it with your classmates. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation. Here comes our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点，读到课文第二部分的最后一句。 With eyes filled with tears, the banker returns home but has trouble sleeping. 银行家热泪盈眶，回到家之后却辗转难眠。好，这边要介绍两个文法重点。前半句的 with eyes filled with tears， 它这是用到 with 加上受词加受词补语的句型。那这个句型是用来表达附带的状况或者是说明原因。其中的受词补语你可以用形容词、介系词片语或者是分词。如果要用分词来当受词补语的话，这个受词和受词补语的关系可以用来判断，主动就用现在分词，被动就用过去分词。那我们来造几个例句。 You shouldn't talk with your mouth full. 你不应该边吃边讲话，嘴里有食物的时候不要开口。好，那我们句子里面的受词补语就是形容词 full。再来看 The woman walked out of the store with shopping bags in hand. 那名女子走出商店，手里提着购物袋。好，那这时候受词补语就是介系词片语 in hand。再看一个例句。 With the kids running around the house, she couldn't concentrate on the book she was trying to read. 小朋友们在房子里面跑来跑去，她没有办法专注在她要看的书上面。好，那么小朋友是会主动跑来跑去的，所以这个受词跟受词补语之间是主动关系。那我们的受词补语就用现在分词 running。第二个要介绍的重点是 have trouble 加上动词 ing， 这表示做什么什么有困难。那课文句子里面的 has trouble sleeping 就表示睡觉有困难，那就是辗转难眠咯。除了 have trouble， 你也可以用 have difficulty, have problems, have a hard time 来加上动词 ing。 那特别注意的是 trouble 跟 difficulty 都是不可数名词，它们是固定用单数型。举例来说， She had a hard time finding a new job. 她找新工作碰到困难。好，另外我们还可以在 have trouble, have difficulty, have problems, have a hard time 等等后面来接 with 加上名词。举例来说， Ben was having trouble with his homework. Ben 在写作业时遇到困难。那相反的，你可以用have an easy time 加上动词 ing， 或是 have an easy time 加上 with 加名词，来表达说做什么很容易，毫无困难。举例来说， Sean is having an easy time training his dog. Sean 他训练他的狗狗得心应手，毫无困难。好，以上是今天的重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Dive.Today in class, we will dive into America's political system. Philosophy. Stacy graduated from college with a degree in philosophy. Bankrupt. The company was forced to lay off its employees because it went bankrupt. Despise. Why do you despise that politician? Goods. Dan works for a business that exports Taiwanese goods to international markets. Conclude.After careful study, the researchers concluded that the drug was not safe.
Discussion starter starts now!
All right, folks, now it's time for our discussion starter. Roger, which do you think is worse, capital punishment or life imprisonment?
Well, I'm like the young lawyer. I think capital punishment is worse because you're dead. If you're in prison, at least you can probably make use of your time. You could maybe study foreign languages in earnest or learn how to play the piano or something like that. That is, if the prison guards will let you have a piano in your cell. How about you?
I think life imprisonment is worse because of this story. This lawyer guy really got to me. He lost his youth. He gained all the knowledge in the world, but it aged him to no end. It almost killed him. So, you know what? I'm going to go with capital punishment over life imprisonment. Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.